Hi there, my name is Przemek, and today I've got for you a little bit of dark ambient. Two recent dark ambient albums from Winterlight label, Brotherhood of Sleep, Devotional Hymns to a Brilliant Flaming Sun, and Onasander, Dawn Matrix. Let's start with this one, Brotherhood of Sleep. When I saw this name for the first time, I thought it was some new discovery by Mark, the boss of Winterlight, that it's some young adept of dark ambient who was lucky enough to fall into the embrace of Winterlight and offer his music to a wider group of listeners. But when I looked at the name of the musician behind Brotherhood of Sleep, some kind of bell rang in my head, because it's Bart Piette, who's an old-timer, although so far not associated very much with typical dark ambient. I think his most known or important project was well, actually, I think it still is Dead Man's Hill, which revolves more in a martial neoclassical style. Although I took a listen to the latest Dead Man's Hill album, the one released by Zazen Sounds, and the dark ambient aspect was quite significant there. But for example, his other project, Al Sagnia, is very typical martial industrial, typical of the time when it was created. That is the end of the first decade of the 21st century. So, today we should rather draw a veil of silence over it. I think that project is already dead for this moment. But interestingly, at that time, I mean around 2010, a little bit earlier, maybe. At the time, Bart Piette's projects were very popular among Polish publishers and labels. I don't know where it came from, but both Beast of Prey or War Office Propaganda had a few of Bart Piette's albums in their in their portfolio. Even a small Polish label, No Angels, released his material under the name Experiments in Darkness, if I remember it correctly. So Brotherhood of Sleep is a fresh name on the dark ambient scene, but the musician behind it is a veteran through and through. In any case, his music, no matter in which project, has always seemed to me personally rather devoid of subtlety, pushing forward without taking prisoners, which doesn't necessarily have to be some flaw or a bad thing, because the music may not be full of finesse, but it makes up for it with its power, dynamics, and such almost physical impact, not to say kind of pressure on a listener. And I can say the same about Brotherhood of Sleep debut. It is very straightforward dark ambient, but doesn't play with subtlety, does not overdo it with some subsequent layers, doesn't hide any hidden meanings or messages here, at least that's how I feel it. That's how the album looks like. This is the cover. It's by Abi Helasdottir again, I think. Yep. And inside, some cosmic / esoteric graphics. And the back, of course, the titles. This is the music balancing somewhere between cavernous ritual and sacral dark ambient. Very low tuned drones give the impression of being in some dark, damp, and very tight space that you feel almost claustrophobic. But you hear the sounds of looped drums with the ritual tinge, sounds of some, I think, rattles, like in the third track, which is the title track. As if somewhere in this cave you could hear echoes of some ancient cult performing a ritual in honor of, well, brilliant flaming sun. Or maybe it's a modern cult that goes back to ancient traditions, and in the meantime it has kind of expelled the Christian religion, which only reminiscences are the distant echoes of some monastic choirs floating in the air, and that in a variably dark atmosphere, leaving no glimpse of light. Here, this sense of horror doesn't leave the listener from beginning to end. It is always with you all the time throughout the entire 45 minutes of the album's duration. It's horror served on a plate, you may say. You don't have to look for anything or guess the musician's intentions. Whether it's good or bad, it's up to you. I can't deny the Brotherhood of Sleep suggestiveness and power of impact is the kind of dark ambient, to be honest, that I listen to occasionally these days. I have to be in a special mood for it. But if you like the atmospheres in the style of, I don't know, Domine Rex Inferum by MZ412, or I don't know, Shibalba albums maybe, although it's more ritual ambient. But if you like those artists, then this album you may be interested in this one, Brotherhood of Sleep, Devotional Hymns to a Brilliant Flaming Sun. Okay, and the second one I would like to talk about today, it's this one, Onasander Dawn Matrix. It's the latest album by Winterlight so far, but I think it's the latest because another one has already been announced, the Aina double CD Algol, but I'm not sure if it's already out or not. Anyway, if you watch my videos regularly, you probably came across this name Onasander before, because I talk about it quite often. Because Onasander is currently one of the most prolific dark ambient projects, and there's hardly a month without a new release, or at least announcement of a new release by Onasander or Maurizio Landini's side projects. Maurizio, I have to say, he uses some kind of magic tricks to warp space-time, because it seems that for him the day is longer than for the rest of population. I can think of any other explanation how he finds time to record so much music, especially that from what I know, he also had a regular normal 8-hour job from 8 to 8 to 4 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I don't know. Anyway, the album looks like this. The cover, this time as for Winterlight standards, quite aesthetic, I would say. But inside you already have some cosmic graphics, cosmic spaces, and some void, I think. Yeah. It's I have to say it's very nice design. But one digression. It seems that at some point Winterlight gave up on glossy digipacks in favor of those digi sleeves. I think. I suspect. I think it's due to the production cost. Personally, I prefer digipacks, but of course I understand and respect this decision, because when running a dark ambient label you have to count every euro or every dollar, because you won't get richer from running dark ambient label. Anyway, Onasander Dawn Matrix. I know. I'm sure you remember the tagline of the first Alien movie in space. No one can hear your scream. Dawn Matrix makes me think of a lost astronaut drifting in endless black space, screaming for help or for a quick and painless death. But no one hears him. No one will give him a helping hand, and all he may expect is the agony caused by the ending of oxygen and the slow suffocation. The kind of basis or foundation of each track are the deep bass drones, which are like a reflection of this monstrous black canvas dot with tiny, faintly flickering silver lights. Maurizio manages to depict the horror and mystery of space. Of course, he doesn't use any original or sophisticated means of expression here, because all revolves around the atmospheres of Lastmort or Philios or Gustav Hildebrand, today unfortunately somewhat forgotten artist. But Onasander strips his composition of unnecessary ornamentation if some atmospheric passages appear, because they appear basically in all tracks. They are very subtle. This is not an adventure with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney in the main roles. There's no hope here, just pure cosmic horror. And you can't deny Maurizio Landini's skill and effectiveness in what he does. It works pretty well, sometimes causing really a frosty shiver down my spine. All this means that of all Onasander releases that I had the opportunity to know or listen recently, I think Dawn Matrix will probably become one of my favorites, because it is very competent dark ambient, which I think I can recommend to all the fans of this kind of music. Onasander Dawn Matrix. Okay, that would be it for today. 2 recent albums from Winterlight label. They have some in common, but at the same time they are very individual entities. I think I can both recommend both to all of you, although I prefer personally Onasander, but both are, like I said, competent pieces of dark ambient works. Okay, thanks for watching and see you soon.